कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवर धारी जय गिरिवर धारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी जय यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुरमाई की जय नरसिंह भगवान की जय पंच तत्व की जय षड गोस्वामी की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So, Hare Krishna, Prabhu's Mataji's, welcome all of you for this Srimad Bhagavatam session on this wonderful, glorious month of Damodara. So, it's very, very auspicious to hear Bhagavatam, to recite shlokas from Bhagavatam. It is given in the Skanda Purana, Padma Purana, right? When we, for example, the benefits, when you recite verse, you're given one verse from Bhagavatam, it's as good as reciting 18 Puranas. You're already reading the Puranas. So the Bhagavatam is very auspicious. So let us hear and recite. Okay. Just share the screen. So today we'll be having this opportunity to discuss verse number 4th canto 8th chapter 36th verse. अथापि मे विनीतस्य क्षात्रं घोरम् उपेयुषः सुरुच्या दुर्वचो बाणैर्न भिन्ने श्रयते हृदि अथापि मे विनीतस्य क्षत्रं घोरं विपेयुषः सुरुच्या दुर्वचो बाणैर्न भिन्ने श्रयते हृदि. Two of you can recite this verse.
Hare Krishna. May
Yes,
I try? Yeah.
please.
अतापि मे अविनीतस्य क्षात्रं घोरम् उपेयुषः सुरुच्या दुर्वचो बाणैर्न भिन्ने श्रयते हृदि.
Yes.
Hare
One
Krishna.
more person. One more devotee. Anybody can.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mami.
अतापि मे विनित्यस्य क्षत्रं घोरम् उपेयुषः सुरुच्या ध्रुवचो भानैर्न भिन्ने श्रयते हृदि. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Synonyms, word to word meaning. Atapi, therefore, may, my, avinitasya, not very submissive, kshatram, the spirit of a kshatriya, ghoram, intolerant, upayushaha, achieved, suruchyaha, of Queen Suruchi, durvachaha, harsh words, banaihi, by the arrows, na, not, bhinne, being pierced, shreyate, remaining, hridi, the heart. Translation and purport is Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation and purport. My dear Lord, I am very impudent for not accepting your instructions. But this is not my fault. It is due to my having been born in a Kshatriya family. My stepmother Suruchi has pierced my heart with her harsh words. Therefore, your valuable instruction does not stand in my heart. Purport. It is said that the heart or mind is just like an earthen pot. Once broken, it cannot be repaired by any means. Dhruva Maharaj gave this example to Narada Muni. He said that his heart, having been pierced by the arrows of his stepmother's harsh words, felt so broken that nothing seemed valuable but his desire to counteract her insult. His stepmother had said that because he was born from the womb of Suniti, a neglected queen of Maharaj Uttarapada, Dhruva Maharaj was not fit to sit either on the throne or on his father's lap. In other words, according to his stepmother, he could not be declared king. Dhruva Maharaj, he could not be declared king. Dhruva Maharaj's determination, therefore, was to become a king of a planet exalted even beyond that possessed by Lord Brahma, the greatest of all demigods. Dhruva Maharaj indirectly informed the great sage Narada that there are 4 kinds of human spirit: the Brahmanical spirit, the Kshatriya spirit, the Vaishya spirit, and the Shudra spirit. The spirit of one caste is not applicable to the members of another. The philosophical spirit enunciated by Narada Muni might have been suitable for a Brahmana spirit, but it was not suitable for a Kshatriya. So Dhruva frankly admitted that he was lacking in Brahminical humility and was therefore unable to accept the philosophy of Narada Muni. The statements of Dhruva Maharaj indicate that unless a child is trained according to his tendency, there is no possibility of his developing his particular spirit. It was the duty of the spiritual master or teacher to observe the psychological movement of a particular boy and thus train him in a particular occupational duty. Dhruva Maharaj, having already been trained in the Kshatriya spirit, would not accept the Brahminical philosophy. In America, we have practical experience of this incompatibility of the Brahminical and Kshatriya temperaments. The American boys, who have simply been trained as Shudras, are not at all fit to fight in the battle. Therefore, when they are called to join the military, they refuse because they do not have a Kshatriya spirit. This is the cause of great dissatisfaction in the society. That the boys do not have a Kshatriya spirit does not mean that they are trained in Brahminical qualities or they are trained as Shudras, and thus in frustration they are becoming hippies. However, as soon as they enter the Krishna consciousness movement being started in America, they are trained to meet the Brahminical qualifications even though they have fallen to the lowest condition as Shudras. In other words, since the Krishna conscious movement is open for everyone, people in general can attain the Brahminical qualifications. This is the greatest need at the present moment. For now, there are actually no Brahmanas or Kshatriyas, but only some Vaishyas and for the most part, Shudras. The classification of society into Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras is very scientific. In the human social body, Brahmanas are considered the head, Kshatriyas are the arms, Vaishyas are the belly, and Shudras are the legs. At the present moment, the body has legs and a belly, but there are no arms or head, and therefore society is topsy-turvy. It is necessary to re-establish the Brahminical qualifications in order to raise the fallen human society to the highest standard of spiritual consciousness. Jai Shri Prabhupada Transcendental Purport Ki Jai. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति सुपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणलिता श्री विशाखांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु भयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचम् इमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयति अखिलशक्ति धरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणानमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं मुखं करोति वाचालं भङ्गं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे रामानुजं परमानन्दम् ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य नमो विष्णुवे कृष्ण महाशिवस्वामिनाय नमो विष्णुवे. So Hare Krishna, once again I welcome all of you and thank you very much for keeping the appointment with Krishna for this Srimad Bhagavatam. So we're continuing with this chapter in Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 8th chapter. Dhruva Maharaj leaves home for the forest. See, Krishna, he talks in Bhagavad Gita about two important negative qualities that we should get rid of. They are apaishunam and parushyam. Apaishunam means fault finding. We find faults with everybody, right? We don't think of anything good. Everybody has some good quality, definitely, but fault finding. So that is apaishunam. And parushyam means harsh speech. So Krishna refers to these qualities as demoniac qualities. So when we are filled with pride, arrogance, anger, automatically our speech is also harsh. Parushyam or harsh speech causes great pain to others. So in this pastime of Dhruva Maharaj, we find that is innocently, he very innocently, right, child, 5-year-old, he ran to his father and wanted to sit on his lap. But his stepmother Suruchi, great envy and pride, she spoke to him in a rude manner, saying that he is not qualified to sit on the king's lap. So when the king also remained silent and did not support him, Dhruva Maharaj became all the more hurt. That's why in this verse we just saw, right? Prabhupada very nicely mentions how much harmful parushyam it is. He says, it is said that heart or mind is just like an earthen pot. But once broken, it cannot be repaired by any means. See, I came across a very nice story. See, once there was an old man who kept speaking in harsh manner and spread rumors about others. So once what happened, he falsely accused his neighbor, saying that he was a thief. And he was a young fellow actually. And he was arrested. After a few days, it was proved that the young person was innocent and he was released. So hurt, he was so much hurt, right? So hurt by the harsh and false speech of the old man, no? The young man sued him. In the court, the old man spoke to the judge in a very arrogant manner. He said, well, they were just my comments. It doesn't harm anyone. Why cannot I speak whatever comes up in my mind? I have the freedom of speech. That's what he said. Old man. Now the judge said, okay, write all the comments that you said in a piece of paper. Cut them up and throw the pieces of paper. Tomorrow come back to hear the sentence. Next day, the judge told the old man when he came, no? Now, before receiving the sentence, You'll have to go out and gather all the pieces of paper that you threw out yesterday. Old man said, I can't do that. I cannot do that. The wind has already spread them. I won't know where to find them. Then the judge replied, the same way, harsh and derogatory comments destroy the honor of a man to such an extent that we will not be able to fix it forever. So if you can't speak well of someone, rather don't say anything. So the moral is, let us all be the masters of our mouths so that we won't be slaves of our words. So let us pray at the lotus feet of Guru, Prabhupada and Krishna, right? So that we do not hurt others by this harsh speech and use our mouths only for, and the mouth should be only used for glorifying the Supreme Lord and the devotees. See, the power of the words that we speak, can never be underestimated. See, it is said that the words hurt more than the swords. So what to talk of those who are inimical to us? Life's way are such that no matter how nice people are, okay, when they are in some very difficult situations or painful situations, they will speak more hurting words. And when and especially when it comes from our near and dear ones, it becomes very difficult to take them, right? And sometimes it permanently affects our relationships. So in these situations, if only we can take a pause and understand that these harsh words were spoken because they were in some difficulty. And it was not their intention to hurt us. Then the relationship will be saved. Understood? We should understand that if that person is telling something bad or is speaking harshly and all. If you understand that these harsh words spoken because they were actually in some difficulty, it was not their intention to hurt us, then the relationship can be saved. In Ramayana, we find that when Maricha, who took the form of the golden deer, was chased by Lord Ram. So the demon imitated Lord Ram's voice, calling Lakshmana and Sita for help. So on hearing this call, Sita Mata was getting anxious. So he told Lakshmana to go to Ram's rescue. However, Lakshmana, realizing that it is not Ram's voice, he knew that. Said it was only the demon who is imitating. And the Lord Ram was safe. And he said, I cannot leave without taking care of you, Sita Mata was telling. So Sita Mata, in her great anxiety, about Ram's safety, she accused Lakshmana of having ill intentions towards her. Now, Lakshmana had always revered Sita, right, as his mother. And these words from her were like a fierce, sharp arrows. But later we see that Lakshmana never kept brooding on these words or even referred to them. See, after all the war was over and Sita Mata came back, he was never talking about it. This is because Lakshmana understood that those were spoken by Sita Mata out of anxiety to save Lord Ram, who was very dear to both of them. So there was no ill intention behind that speaking. And it was spoken out of spiritual anxiety for the safety of the Lord. So in the same way, we also find that Vibhishana, the younger brother of Ravana, he comes to the shelter of Lord Ram, right? At that time, Sugriva and other monkeys, they became very highly agitated, thinking that Vibhishana is coming to kill Lord Ram. So Ramayana says that they started picking up trees and stones in order to kill Vibhishana. They also speak very strong words, condemning him. But we find that Vibhishana remained very cool. And he stood in the sky itself and he spoke to Sugriva. So Ramayana described Vibhishana as Mahapragya, meaning very intelligent, and Mahan, meaning very great. So Vibhishana speaks to the same Sugriva who spoke harsh words and told him that he is the brother of Ravana and explained how he tried to advise Ravana to hand over Sita to Lord Ram and how Ravana was not listening to him. And he was humiliated by him, and therefore he left. His wife and children came to take shelter of Lord Ram. See, even in the presence of Lord Ram, Vibhishana requested Sugriva to inform Lord Ram immediately that he has come seeking his shelter. See, we find that the reason why he is referred to as highly intelligent and great is because he knew that it is not right to seek the shelter of Lord Ram directly, but only through the Lord's dearest servant. And hence he appealed to Sugriva. So even though Sugriva spoke harshly, Vibhishana did not become angry or even hurt because Vibhishana had understood that Sugriva and the monkeys were in anxiety regarding protection for their dear Lord Ram. So overwhelmed with that anxiety, they spoke these words with the only intention to protect Lord Ram. So Vibhishana could understand this. And later he was given the shelter by Lord Ram. So let us all pray for the intelligence and maturity, to understand that the words spoken in tension, sometimes by our loved ones, have no ill intention behind them. And thus learn not to become angry or hurt so that we will not end up spoiling a valuable relationship. See, we saw in this purport, the discussion of verse today, where it is said that the heart or mind is just like an earthen pot. Once broken, it cannot be repaired by any means. So Dhruva Maharaj gave this example to Narada Muni. He said that his heart, having been pierced by the arrows of stepmother's harsh words, felt so broken that nothing seemed valuable but his desire to counteract the result. See, we have so many desires in our hearts. Even after taking up this devotional service, process of devotional service, we fail to realize the goal of our life. And we go with a big list of material desires when we pray to Krishna. See, in 4.9.29, Bhagavatam, Maitri Muni explains to Vidura why Dhruva Maharaj was not pleased after his material desires were fulfilled by the Lord. He said Dhruva Maharaj's heart, which was pierced by the arrows of the harsh words of his stepmother, was greatly aggrieved. And thus, when he fixed upon his goal of life, he did not forget his misbehavior. Her misbehavior, sorry. So he did not demand actual liberation from this middle world. But at the end of this devotional service, when the Supreme Lord appeared before him, he was simply ashamed of the material demands he had in his mind. So prayers for taking revenge on others or longing for material possessions, these two things, prayers for taking revenge on others or longing for material possessions are the stumbling blocks for those who want to progress in spiritual path. Two things, right? We pray for, I have to take revenge, right? Or longing for more material things. We are stumbling blocks. We gain nothing by taking revenge against others, right? Nor can we remain happy with any amount of material possession in this world. So the same material possession which we long for today would become a source of misery when we own it. So the goal of our life is to serve the Supreme Lord Krishna. If Krishna blesses us with this opportunity, then that is the best thing for us. So when Lord fulfilled all his material desires, Dhruva Maharaj realized that those material desires actually had deprived him the opportunity of entering the spiritual world immediately. Instead, he had to rule the world for many thousands of years. And only later he would be able to enter the spiritual world. So the word Muktipati in this verse means one under whose lotus feet there are all kinds of mukti. In the purport, Prabhupada gives very nice explanation what mukti is. Mukti means transferral to the loving service of the Lord from one's position of serving Maya. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says in this connection that the constitutional position of a living entity is to render service to the Lord. That is real mukti. So when one is situated in his original position, giving up artificial positions, he is called mukta or liberated. So praying for anything other than the loving service is like asking for glass pieces from Supreme Lord Krishna, who is eager to provide us the diamond of devotional service. So let us take lessons from Dhruva Maharaj and pray to Lord to bless us with this mukti, so that we are always engaged in the service under all circumstances. And we also saw in the purport of 4.836, his stepmother had said that because he was born from the womb of Suniti, a neglected queen of Maharaj Uttanapada, Dhruva Maharaj was not fit to sit either on the throne or in his father's lap. In other words, according to his stepmother, he could not be declared king. So, again, further we say, the statements of Dhruva Maharaj indicate that unless a child is trained according to his tendency, there is no possibility of his developing his particular spirit. So it is a duty of the spiritual master or teacher to observe the psychological movement of a particular boy and thus train him in a particular occupational duty. Prabhupada beautifully says, Dhruva Maharaj, having already been trained in Kshatriya spirit, He would not accept the Brahminical philosophy. In other words, since Krishna conscious movement is open for everyone, people in general can attain the Brahminical qualifications. Very encouraging statement, right? So this is the greatest need at the present moment. For now, there are actually no Brahmanas or Kshatriyas, but only some Vaishyas and for the most part, Shudras. So the classification of society into Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras is very scientific. Because in the human society, see, in the human social body, the Brahmanas are considered the head, Kshatriyas are the arms, Vaishyas are the belly, and the Shudras are the legs. And at the present moment, what is happening? Body has legs and belly, but there are no arms or head. And therefore, the society is topsy-turvy. So, through yoga, if through yoga the mind can be trained, no, then the mind is our friend. But if the mind is left untrained, then there is no possibility of leading a successful life. For one who has no idea of spiritual life, no, the mind is the greatest enemy. If one thinks that he is simply the body, his mind will not be working for his benefit. It will simply be acting to serve the gross body and to further the condition of the living entity and entrap him in the material nature. However, if one understands one's position as spirit soul apart from the body, the mind can be a liberating factor. So the mind has nothing to do actually. In itself, mind has nothing to do. It is simply waiting to be trained. And it is best trained through association. Desire is the function of the mind. And one desires according to his association. So the mind is to act as friend, there must be good association. See, we disagree that everyone should go through the same training. It's not like that. The spiritual master should judge the tendency or disposition of the student at the start of his education. He should be able to see whether a boy is fit for military training, administration, or philosophy. Then he should be fully trained according to his particular tendency. So if one is naturally inclined to like philosophical study, so why should he waste his time in the military? And if one is naturally inclined to military training, why should he waste his time with other things? Arjuna belonged to a Kshatriya family. He and his brothers were never trained as philosophers. Dronacharya was their master and teacher. And although he was a Brahmana, he taught them Dhanurveda, military science, not Brahma Vidya. So Brahma Vidya is theistic philosophy. So no one should be trained in everything. That is a waste of time. If one is inclined towards production, business, or agriculture, you should be trained in those fields. If one is philosophical, you should be trained as a philosopher. If one is militaristic, you should be trained as a warrior. And if one has ordinary ability, you should remain a Shudra or laborer. So this is stated by Narada Muni in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yasya Lakshanam Proktam. The four classes of society are recognized by their symptoms and qualifications. Narada Muni also says that one should be selected for training according to his qualifications. Even if one is born in a Brahmana family, he should be considered a Shudra if his qualifications are those of a Shudra. By birth, you are not. You have to qualify yourself. See, by birth, you should not, if your father is a doctor, by birth, you cannot become a doctor. You have to qualify yourself, right? Same here. So if one is born in a Shudra family, he should be taken as a Brahmana if his symptoms are Brahminical. So the spiritual master should be expert. He is expert enough, right, to recognize the tendencies of the student and immediately train him in that line. So that is perfect education. See, Dehina means possessor of the body. So there is a proprietor for this body, right? Actually, we are not the proprietor. We are the occupier. Just like a rented house. Proprietor is a different man. See, if you rent a house, proprietor is a different man. And the tenant is the occupier. So no proprietorship. So I am the spirit soul. I am not the proprietor. I am simply occupier. See, Prabhupada says in one of the lectures, the rascal materialists, they do not know that the proprietor is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he is giving me a particular apartment according to my capacity of paying the rent. So this is my position. Otherwise, why everyone does not get first class body, king's body or rich man's body? A child born, immediately he is rich man. So there is no arrangement. And another child born in the same moment is very poor. Why? This is called karma kanda. See, the child is given a room, an apartment, according to his capacity of paying the rent. And the other child is given another apartment, very luxurious apartment, according to his capacity of paying rent. This is called karma kanda. So according to your karma or work, you get a body, either as a king's son or a cobbler's son or dogs or cats. That is the nature. This we have to understand. Krishna said in the the word that don't think we did not exist in the past. We are existing at present, and we shall continue to exist in the future. Exactly like that. We live in one apartment, right? Then if I am able to pay more rent, I transfer to another apartment. Or if I cannot pay the present rent, then I have to move to another less rented apartment. We know this, we can recognize easily. This is called, I existed in one apartment. Now I am existing in another apartment, and I shall exist in another apartment. So I am eternal. I am simply changing my apartment or dress. This is a simple thing to understand. So in this life, I am experiencing that I changed so many apartments. Like I was a child. That apartment I have changed into boyhood. Then again, I changed that apartment to youthhood. Then I am old man. So when this apartment will be vacated at that time. So I will have to accept another apartment. Very difficult to understand. I must possess one apartment or body. The body is apartment. So very easy to understand, right? So we should be we are actually eternal souls. We should always glorify the Lord. So this brahmachari karma, grihastha karma, vanaprastha karma, sannyasa karma, then brahmanas karma, kshatriyas karma, vaishyas karma, and shudras karma. See, the society which knows perfectly well all these different karmas, that is a perfect society, and that is human society. So Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, Krishna says that, see, everyone is going to the schools and colleges, right? Passing their examination. But because he's not trained up according to his tendency or according to his quality, after the education, he's unemployed. Because he has not been trained up according to the tendency, according to the qualification. So that is the basic principle of karma. So Krishna, he began his chapter, the 4th chapter, right? Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvanya Maya Shishtam, Guna Karma Vibhakasha, 4.13. That is very essential. Varnashrama Dharma. Because we must have the aim of life. At the present moment, there is no aim of life. At the present moment, the aim of life is sense gratification. That's all. Indriya Tripti. And that is forbidden in the Shastras. 5.5.4 Bhagavatam says, Nunam pramattam kurute vikarma. Kim karmeti, kim vikarmeti. Karma and vikarma. Prescribed duties according to qualification, position, occupation. That is called karma. And just opposite is vikarma. So karma, akarma, vikarma. So it is a tendency of materialist life to act in vikarma, forbidden. And that is explained by Rishabhadeva in Bhagavatam 5.5.4. Nunam pramattam kurate vikarma yad indriya pritaya apnoti. So that is visible at the present moment in the Kali Yuga, all over the world, right? Vikarma, vikarmeti. That's why, therefore, Rishabhadeva, many years ago, he was warning his sons. My dear boys, nunam pramatam kurute vikarma. All people being mad, they're committing all sinful activities. They do not know what is sinful activity. They think everything is all right. No, nature will take account of everything and he will give you a next body. That's why in Bhagavatam 1.2.13, Atha Pumbir Dudash Shrestha, Varnashrama Vibhakasha, so Anutushtasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to caste, divisions, and orders of life is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the only point. Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. So every man should perform his occupational duty in the light of his particular tendency. So according to his abilities, one should accept a position in the Varnashrama institution. So divisions of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra are natural divisions within the society. So everyone has a prescribed duty according to the Varnashrama Dharma. Those who properly execute their prescribed duties, they live peacefully. And they are not disturbed by material conditions. So these spiritual orders, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa, are called ashramas. And if one executes this prescribed routine, both the social and spiritual orders, Supreme Personality of Godhead is very much pleased. If one neglects his duties, right, prescribed duties, he becomes a offender. And is candidate, best candidate for a hellish condition. See, actually, we see that different people are engaged in different ways, right? So therefore, there must be divisions according to work. So to attain perfection, one must make devotional service the center of life. In this way, one can awaken his natural instincts for work, right? So one should accept the Varnashrama divisions by qualification, not by birth. So unless the system is introduced, human activities cannot be systematically executed. So the Brahmanas are the intellectuals who can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are always engaged in the cultivation of knowledge. It does not matter whether one is born in India or outside India. And those who are naturally very heroic and who tend to rule over others are called Kshatriyas. And those who tend to produce food by agricultural methods, protect cows and other animals, and engage in trade are called Vaishyas, merchants. And those who are not sufficiently intelligent to be Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, or Vaishyas are required to serve a master and are called Shudras. So everyone can engage in service of the Lord and awaken his natural Krishna consciousness. So if a society does not function according to such natural divisions, the social orders become degraded. So the conclusion is that the scientific method of Varnashram should be adopted by the society. And we saw in the 4836, in the verse which we are discussing, Prabhupada says, it is necessary to re-establish the Brahmanical qualifications in order to raise the fallen human society to the highest standard of spiritual consciousness. See, it has become very difficult, no, therefore, to raise the spiritual standard. Why? Due to the present distorted values of human society. So the sages of Naimisharanya, they are anxious to disentangle all fallen souls. And they are seeking the remedy from Srila Suta Goswami in Naimisharanya, right? We saw that. So Prabhupada says, that is the business of the saintly persons, to be compassionate and to elevate the fallen souls. So they are simply trying to, how to deliver this entangled human society, and that is their business. So why in human society there is religion? The purpose is to elevate himself to the transcendental position. That is religion. Where there is no such aim to raise one from fallen condition to the liberated state, that is not religion, that is sentiment. Religion means one should be raised from the fallen condition to the highest elevated condition. Therefore, there are so many rules and regulations which we have to follow. So this process of Krishna consciousness is the highest benediction for human society because it is trying to bring the human being to the platform of spiritual body. Transcending gross and subtle middle, that is the highest perfection. So human life is meant for coming to that perfection, spiritual platform. So in order to raise oneself to the highest standard of life, these principles of Varnashrama Dharma should be followed. See, you cannot become MA without becoming a student in the school and college. You have to go through the process. Correct? See, we lack faith. Shraddha. We lack faith. Why? Because we don't have the determination to continue our Krishna consciousness. Very important point. That is the reason we are lacking faith. We lack faith because we don't have the determination to continue our Krishna consciousness. Now, determination is the most important factor in devotional service. That is why both starts in D, devotional service and determination. And the best way Bhagavatam tells us to know the example of one who is determined is to remember the great pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. See, King Uttanapada had two wives, Suniti and Suruchi. And Dhruva Maharaj was born of Suniti and Uttama was born of Suruchi. So one morning, when Dhruva's brother Uttama sat on his father's lap, Dhruva Maharaj also wanted to sit on his father's lap. And because Suniti and Dhruva were not favorable to the king did not want Dhruva to sit on his lap. He was not so inviting. So Dhruva was told by his stepmother that you don't deserve to sit on your father's lap because you have to be born in my womb to be of that position. because she was that much favored by the father. Now Dhruva Maharaj becomes very upset. What does he do? He goes to his mother Suniti and asks her, is it really true that I cannot sit on the lap of my mother? She says, yes, it's very true. Come on. What will happen to the 5-year-old boy? He was expecting something, other solution, but he says, yes, it is very true because the father likes your stepmother very much. Is it very true, mother, that stepmother Suruchi said that you better pray very hard to Supreme Personality of Godhead, you will take birth in my womb and then you can sit in your father's lap? To that extent, she said, so is it true that I have to pray very hard to Krishna and then I can sit on my father's lap? These are the questions he was asking. Suniti could have told Dhruva Maharaj, no, I am also the wife. What is this nonsense? But do you know what the mother told him? Suniti told him, she is right. She is right. Which part is right? That you have to pray to Krishna. See the mood of the devotee. When devotee hears something bad, he sees something good. That is devotee. He ignores the part that is bad. So Suniti said, she is your mother, stepmother, she is correct. Only by the agency and plan of Lord Krishna, you can sit on your father's lap. She is right, she is right. So great devotees have this ability to see good, even when it is bad. That is why it is told in the purport of 2.41 Bhagavad Gita, in order to be determined, we have to follow the instructions of the great devotees, follow the instructions of our spiritual master. That is the secret to be determined. So who was the first spiritual master for Dhruva? His good mother. Now mother gives him second instruction. Dhruva, I know you are very upset. I am also very upset. But let us do one thing. The only person who could clear our feelings of upset, who can mitigate our miseries, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. You go now and meditate on him, and only he can give you peace. So this is the best guidance of spiritual master. The moment the mother gave him this, Dhruva Maharaj's determination increased. In his heart, he wanted to pray to Krishna because he wanted to obey his mother. He accepted the instructions of his mother. So we should be determined to accept the instructions of the spiritual master and to accept the instructions of the senior devotees. If that determination is used to accept instructions, then it is well placed. If you are determined not to follow the instructions of spiritual master, then that determination is misplaced. It is useless. So Dhruva's determination was well placed because of mother's influence and blessings. And he goes to the forest. Now when Dhruva Maharaj goes to the forest, Narada Muni hears about it. See, in those days, no social media, no internet. Narada Muni did not get any WhatsApp text from Krishna saying, hey, listen, somebody is walking out to the forest. 5-year-old boy, look out for him. Nothing like that. Why? Because Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita says, the moment any living entity wants to come to Krishna, sorry, with determination, which is single, Ekeha, then Krishna is Chaitya Guru in the heart. Paramatma immediately will know that this devotee is sincere. What am I going to do for him? I will give him the guidance of another pure devotee. So Krishna suggested in the heart of Narada Muni to go. So in those days, no internet was needed. Today, internet means you're caught in the net. Where do you go? www. www means World Wide Web. So there is a web and that web will catch you. So this is something we have to remember. The internet, World Wide Web, these things catch us. They don't free us. But because devotees believe in Krishna, Krishna suggested Narada Muni to go and guide this person. So Narada Muni goes and sees in the forest this 5-year-old boy. Very determined. See, will you send your 5-year-old sons to the forest? And whether will your sons go to the forest? No. Maybe that is a better question. We won't go. No prasadam. No, why to go there in the forest? But Dhruva Maharaj is Eke hai Kuru Nandana. What was his motive? Dhruva Maharaj's motive was not bhakti. Please listen to this. His motive of going to the forest is not bhakti. His motive was that I want a kingdom bigger than my father. So that I don't want to sit on the lap of my father. I will be better than my brother. So motive was not right. But A.K. Kurudanandana was there, determination. He was determined that he can only get this from the Supreme Lord Krishna. So that part, 50% was already correct. Now, Narada Muni is coming. He's telling, my dear Dhruva, you are just 5 years old. Please don't waste your time. This is not the age to remember Krishna. There is a retirement age. At that time, you can come to the forest. You are a boy. Now go and play something. Don't waste your time. Don't you know that whatever you want is all destined? You will just get whatever you're destined to get. So don't waste your time. Why are you wasting your time? Now, Dhruva Maharaj is very straightforward. Those who are determined, they are also honest. He tells Narada Muni, my dear Narada Muni, I am a Kshatriya. These Kshatriyas, we feel the pinch when somebody insults us. So I want a kingdom bigger than my brother. If you can help me there, then help me. So give me a honest way to achieve what I want. So one who is determined and who has been touched by a pure devotee like Suniti, they develop the good qualities without even realizing it. Very important. One who is determined, no? And who are touched by a pure devotee like Suniti, Dhruva Maharaj's mother, they develop good qualities without even realizing it. That is why my Guru Maharaj always told us, your behavior changes without your realizing it. When you obey me and when you obey the Shastras, they automatically change. That is why in Krishna consciousness, we don't have character building seminars. We build on the faith of Krishna and then all character comes. Now Dhruva Maharaj also already told him, this is what I want. Narada Muni had actually put him on a test actually. See, before a guru decides to give a disciple Diksha, no, he has to test him. Is he serious or not serious? So now Narada Muni knew that this boy is very serious. He's 5 years old, but highly mature. And most important thing is, Vyavasatmika Buddhihi. His intelligence is focused on one object, that is Krishna. So Narada Muni knew that Dhruva has passed his test. So he said, my dear Dhruva, I have now initiated you with the path of bhakti. After initiating him, he now tells him, you chant this mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And he gives him specific instructions on how to concentrate on the beautiful form of the Lord in the heart. In Bhagavatam, beautifully it is given that in various ways, how to meditate on the Lord. See, Dhruva Maharaj accepts every single instruction and he starts his austerity. Just look at what was his austerity. He goes to the beautiful forest of Madhuvan and there he stands. Even though there is so many dangers of wild animals, no food, even though there is nothing favorable there, Dhruva Maharaj had faith in his spiritual master. So this is the point of determination. And again, it is faith. Now, because he has faith that Narada Muni has told him to stand here now, he knew that he would just be determined to meet Krishna. He was not doubtful. No way. So what happened? In the first month, Shastras tell us that Dhruva Maharaj ate only fruits and berries every third day. Can we do that? Oh, it's very difficult, Prabhu. If you get a chance, no, we will eat prasadam 3 times a day, minimum. And in between some prasadam snacks, isn't it? Night milk, morning milk. But Dhruva Maharaj ate just every third day, and that too berries and fruits. In the second month, he ate only fruits and leaves. Once every 6 days. We can't eat leaves. And in the third month, Bhagavatam says, he started taking water, and that too every 9 days. For us, after 9 hours without water, we are finished. In the 4th month, Dhruva Maharaj stopped eating and drinking. He only inhaled air. That also he inhaled air once every 12 days. And just cannot imagine, right? So Dhruva Maharaj was Eke Kuru Nandana. There was no bodily conception of life. In the purpose, Prabhupada writes that the obstacle to determination is the bodily concept of life. What is the obstacle for determining? We are not able to do determination in doing the devotional service. The obstacle is bodily concept of life. So you have to remember, the more you think that you are this body, less determined you are to do devotional service. More you are criticized, the more you find faults. It's all based on this body. Dhruva Maharaj had no time to criticize. Anyway, whom to criticize? Nobody in the forest, right? There were only animals there. And he was just concentrating. And finally, by the time 5th month came, he was standing on one leg, without movement. Mind fully concentrated on Krishna. The Bhagavatam tells us that his mind and senses became completely fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord in the heart. In that way, Bhagavatam says he captured Krishna. And because he captured Krishna, out of his determination and on the platform of following the instructions of the spiritual master, the entire world began to tremble because of Dhruva Maharaj's great austerity. Now, because he was one in his heart with Krishna, his body assumed the weight of the Supreme Lord. And just by his toe poking into the ground, the entire earth was going down. Now, because he had closed all his senses, the entire three worlds now became choked because he was one in his mind with his Krishna. Finally, the Devatas called up Krishna and said, Krishna, this devotee boy is highly determined. But before we die, you please save us. And the Lord gets up on Garuda. And Dhruva Maharaj is fixing his mind on Krishna. Every last moment, at the very last moment, he had the glimpse of the Lord in his heart. He has not opened his eyes, it is in his heart. Now Dhruva Maharaj became ecstatic. That determination has led to darshan. D for determination, D for devotional service, and the end result of this D is darshan of Krishna. It's very easy now, 3 Ds, determination, devotional service, and darshan. See, they are all in a line. So once these 3 Ds are there, Dhruva Maharaj became ecstatic. The moment he became ecstatic, Krishna disappeared from his heart. And once he disappeared, what did Dhruva do? He opened his eyes. And who was in front of him? Krishna seated on the Garuda. See how the Lord planned everything nicely. He first gave him the taste of Lord's form. And as soon as he opened his eyes, the Lord was in front of him. So on having the darshan of the Lord, Dhruva Maharaj became ashamed because his determination to come to Krishna was on material platform. But because he was in the sadhu sangha with his mother and Narada Muni, his heart became purified at the end of his austerities. And that is why austerity is very, very important. To become determined, we must also become austere. Austerity means that you wake up for Mangalarti and we chant Krishna's names. See, nobody here can say that we cannot have 15 minutes of appointment with Krishna in the morning. Are we so busy? Even Prime Minister or President, they have 15 minutes to do exercises. Are we really telling that we don't have 15 minutes to read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam? How long does it take for us to chant Krishna's name? 8 rounds? Maybe 1 hour. All we have to do is cut down on 1 hour less of sleep and have 1 hour more for Krishna. How many lives we are sleeping, oblivious of Krishna? In this life, can we not just sacrifice 1 hour of sleep just for Krishna? Is it so difficult? It is because we don't have the determination. We don't want to accept the instructions of spiritual master seriously because we lack faith. And once we lack faith, we are not serious. And once we are not serious, we don't follow the instructions. And once we don't follow the instructions, we are not determined. And once we are not determined, devotional service drops. Once the devotional service drops, we become morose. And once we become morose, we leave the shelter of Krishna. So do you see the sequence here? This is the problem with us. Dhruva Maharaj did not have that. He was determined. And Krishna appeared in front of him. Now that his senses were purified, he tells Krishna. Actually, he could not tell anything because he was such a young boy and in the presence of the Lord, what is there to be said? He wanted to say some prayers for Krishna's glorification. So upon seeing Krishna, Dhruva wanted to compose prayers to glorify the Lord. But he became tongue-tied. He could not say anything. So Krishna, who had come in the 400 form of Vishnu, touched his head with his conch shell. And the moment he was touched by the touch of Krishna, because the conch shell is different from the Lord, immediately the senses of Dhruva Maharaj became alive. Not to the material world, but they became alive to the spiritual world. That is what we must do. Our senses must be attracted to Krishna in the form of hearing, in the form of chanting, and in the form of remembering. That will automatically take us out of the material concept of life. Otherwise, you and I can walk everywhere, whole day, and keep saying, I am not this body, I am not this body. But all it takes is for someone to come to you and give you a slight slap. Then you say, oh my God, I am this body. Highly painful, isn't it? So artificial way of coming out of bodily concept of life is not the way Krishna consciousness. The way is to practice. Practice. That is the way. That is the command. So Dhruva Maharaj concludes after chanting beautiful prayers to Krishna. He says, Yonta Pravisham. He says, Krishna, I am fool number 1. I came asking you for the whole world. But you have given me something much more than that, and that is bhakti. I came looking for broken pieces of glass, but actually diamonds were waiting for me. This is my foolishness. And Dhruva Maharaj's foolishness is ours to reflect. See, what are we running after in this world? We think that money in the bank is going to save us till the end. Nothing is certain. Nothing is certain, Prabhu Samada. If you have something, my Guru Maharaj used to say, use it or lose it. Isn't it true? So if you have the time, if you have your faculties, come and sit here and hear about Krishna. That is much better. If you have so much money, don't know for some reason what to do or about it, then use it for Krishna. That is it. If you don't use it for Krishna, you will use it for Maya. And if you use it for Maya, you will never be peaceful. This is the way for Krishna consciousness. So very wonderful lessons we could take from this Dhuruma's episodes. So thank you very much, Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Chir Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gautam. Very good. Vancha kalpatarubish kripa sindhu vayevacha. Patidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavam. If you have any questions, anything to share, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
You explained very nicely, Prabhuji. Dhruva, determination, and devotional service. By this way, we can remember the Dhruva story, whole story.
Yes, the 3 Ds. Correct, Madam.
+1 D, Prabhuji, Dhruva.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yes, very nice. Wonderful. Thank you.
It is excellent class, Prabhuji. I think my words fall short.
Mataji, please. Guru, all Guru's mercy, Prabhupada's mercy, all the Vaishnavas around. So just by
So
that
much
blessings,
to
I will-
learn from you, Prabhuji, and thank you for sharing all the pearls. Every day is like attending real valuable classes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Vandaki, Gurudev Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thanks for hammering on and not to be serious on Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna.
Take the Guru's instruction. All these
Seriously.
things.
Yes.
Very piercing. Thank you.
Thank you, Guru. I am also in the same mood. Just, I need to practice more, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm just following instructions of Prabhupada, Guru, what they are telling me, sharing it. So we have to commit ourselves, be more determined.
Yes, Guru.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I like that what you said about the paper, the elderly man who insulted the young man.
Yes.
I remember this. Okay, this was told to me by my father when I was a very small child, that you have to control, you have a control on your words, because once you release them, you don't have any control. You
Correct.
have the control only with yourself.
True.
But this you have explained in a way that this will remain with me. I mean, it will not go away from us. I'm so happy today, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I also, when I read that, I also got very inspired by that. That's a very good thing to understand. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Today you have told a lot of leelas today, and especially Dhruva Maharaj, that triple D is very nice.
Yes, thank you, Guru.
And it starts with determination first.
Yes, true.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Guru. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Guru Mataji. Thank you, Uttam Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you very much,
Pranam.
Prabhu.
Thank you very much. Okay, if you have anything else to share or any questions, you can, otherwise we can stop here. Thank you, Uttam Prabhu, Jyoti Prabhu. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you
Hare
very
Krishna,
much, Prabhu.
Prabhuji. Please do
Hare
share the
Krishna.
recording, Prabhuji. I think my signals went and I exited from the class. I was telling it has
Sure.
so many lessons today. It is so beautiful class, Prabhuji.
Jai Hare
Right
Krishna.
from first lesson to the Dhruv Maharaj's story, there were so many things to correct and learn.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Uttam Prabhu, I'm sorry, I interpreted you.
No, Prabhu. I think I was just listening to the class and I was falling short of thought process as to what can be said, but you explained it so nicely. Maybe I missed that paper story. Maybe I'll take it offline with you. That's the young
Okay.
man, old man, which Mataji mentioned. Maybe
Sure,
I'll
sure.
take it offline with you, but otherwise, I think the
I will share
3D
it with you.
plus.
I can share it to you, bro. Don't worry.
Okay, that'll be a great help. Prabhu.
Sure.
And the 3D plus Mataji added one more D to it as Dhruva.
Dhruva.
It's something really wonderful. So nice of it, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for a wonderful nectar.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Gurudev ki
Krishna,
jai.
Prabhu.
Ananta
Jai.
Koti. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Jai. Jai. Okay, thank you. So we'll meet later on. Krishna will.
Prabhuji, I have made you the host.
Oh, sorry, bro.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, bro. I'll close now. Thank you very much, Mataji and Prabhuji, for keeping the appointment and hearing, giving me this opportunity to glorify Lord so that we can purify ourselves. Hare Krishna.